Brought to you by DMRhosting.com. Unlimited data storage, unlimited data transfer, antivirus, and spam protection, along with 24/7, 365 support via chat or phone. Get started today with a 30-day free trial at DMRhosting.com. Well, that was amusing. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, and today's cup is Alley Cats. My family goes there. All right, so today we're going to be talking about something I found really interesting while scrolling through the Twitterverse. We're going to be talking about Sar Noir. Okay. I had hopes of having the creator on board today, and hopefully we'll still have a chance to chat with him today. But let's take a look and see what we've got here. According to their Kickstarter, Sar Noir is basically L.A. Noire meets X-Files. Sar Noir is a 6-part detective story following Homicide Detective Alan Miller and his alien partner, Ellis Tate, as they travel across the 1940s Los Angeles to find an elusive shapeshifter killing officers in Central Station. Here to explain a little bit more about it is our guest today.
Hi, Tony James.
Thanks. No, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, as you kind of started mentioning on the campaign, it's about a 1940s detective who teams up with a gray alien to stop this elusive shapeshifter who's killing LAPD officers inside Central Station. Central Station is one of the most iconic stations in Los Angeles, police precincts in Los Angeles. It's L.A. Noire meets the X-Files. You have all of that glamorized nostalgia of the 1940s, you know, the flashy cars, the three-piece suits, the rapid-fire dialogue, and then you have the kind of horrifying alien encounters that you would have seen in a show like the X-Files, which was a big show that I grew up watching with my dad. And what I really loved about that show was how it took these real-world alien abduction stories and wove it into its own original narrative. And what it gave you was this kind of grounded view of aliens. So I thought it would be a very good, I thought it would be really interesting to take this matter-of-fact world of the 1940s noir and combine it with a matter-of-fact portrayal of aliens.
Do you take into account how society might judge aliens in the same way that, say, something like Alien Nation did when they went in and they did kind of, I'm not going to say it's something similar because it's not really exactly the same thing, but they tackled the idea of nationalism and foreigners and all this other kind of, they were going in a totally different direction when it came to presenting the aliens. But do you cover any of that?
No, I mean, I didn't grow up with Alien Nation, so creating this book that wasn't a frame of reference for me. What you have is more of aliens living among us in secret, and you have the main character Alan Miller, who is discovering all of this through his partner Ellis Tate, and he's just completely horrified by every encounter, and is just in constant disbelief of what he's seeing. And what you're seeing is just people from like lounge sing. There's a lounge singer in the second book. And she's a shapeshifter. It's a lot of aliens living among us in secret. There aren't really like politics of it. It's just kind of figuring out who's not really a human.
Yeah. There was a film that I saw on HBO many years back that had Call of Cthulhu, film noir, and magic all kind of put together, and everything was just matter of fact. It was just a way of doing things. So even the mob used magic to commit their crimes or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun when you mix genres together, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's also a little bit of a challenge. You don't want to kind of, split it completely in two. You want to have like one part of the genre sort of committing to, and that's what we do with the noir genre. It's a, we don't. There are, the sci-fi is definitely in there. The aliens are definitely in there. They're a big part of the story, but we don't let the sci-fi elements sort of derail the noir setting that we have. It's a full commitment to the noir genre. We've just interjected strategically aliens into it and figured out how to make the fantastical elements of sci-fi and aliens fit into this grounded noir setting.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look here. This is the first slide that I've got ready. That's part of the cover, and it reminds me of the old actual 1940s kind of style of artwork as well.
Yeah, that was it was actually a great idea by our colorist. He wanted to do this sort of brushstroke style that made everything look very vintage and of the time. And I think that really complemented the artist Pablo. I think these two work really well together in complementing each other's art styles. Yep, there is everybody. Yeah, there's Pablo, the artist. He's from Argentina. His previous book was North Bend, but about Scout Comics, which is a smaller indie publisher. Vin, he's a very talented colorist. He was doing some work for IDW for G.I. Joe. And then Marco, can't forget about Marco. He's a great letterer from Italy. He's what I really love about him is that he really understands the rules of lettering and when to break them. I very much a student of the game, and I study every aspect of the comic medium. So when I ask him about a lettering thing that doesn't fit by the book, he has a very good reason as to why he broke the rule.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome to be able to work with so many professionals and put them to good use. And it's always a blessing when they're able to be paired together and work so well together.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a very, very tight knit group. Ever since I gave the script for the first book to the artist, he wrote back a half an hour later and he's like, "We need to start working on this. Like, this is a really exciting thing." And the same thing is just extended to the colors and the letter. Every time I have new pages to give them to work on, they are just excited to start working on it and turn it around. So yeah, and then also like we're also kind of on the same wavelength creatively. I think there's this kind of this old rule of when you're a writer, you're sort of writing for the artist, and you have to sacrifice some of that crystallized vision in your head. But with this team, I feel like I'm not doing that at all. I am pitching this crime scene, and I pitch how gruesome it is with the body and everything, and of course, leaving out anything about camera angles and what we're going to see in the panel. And these artists, they absolutely nail the vibe that I'm looking for. Like, what you see is what I was imagining.
Yeah, and that's always it's hard to find somebody who sees things exactly the way you do. So when you write your script, you don't put in the different angles or the number of panels for any given thing, or
well, no, I include the number of panels. Yeah, so but I just include what's important in each panel. Just like this panel, for example, it is just the main detective and the couple of guys around him. They're looking at this dead body, and I want the artist to know that the focus is the dead body. But I don't say anything about who's visible in it or how far away we are from it. Or maybe any extra. It's just really like the detective is looking at the body and his heart is missing and there's blood around him. And then it's just, letting the artist kind of do their own interpretation of that. Because if you get too specific, it's almost like giving an actor a line reading. You kind of got to give them a chance to, put their own spin on it.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful framing too, because you've got everything circling around the main point of view of the panel. Even the placement of the word bubbles kind of frames all of the action, bringing it back to the center. Um, kind of I don't want to say the golden ratio thing, but that's kind of what I see going on there as well. It's a wonderful combination of elements that bring you to the center of what's important about that particular scene. It's very well done.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, I like this scene as well. One of the there was just so many reference photos that I had to give the art team for not just the city of 1940s Los Angeles, but what some of the interiors of these buildings look like. And
Mm-hmm.
luckily, one of the big influences was L.A. Noire, the video game from 2011, and those have fully interactive buildings where you go inside and they have recreated these offices. So what I did was I went in there, I took screenshots in the game, and I pulled them out and I sent them to the artists. So they were able to fully recreate these offices in the way that they looked at the time.
Mm-hmm. And that's an important attention to detail that people are going to be excited about when they pick up the comic book. I hear it's. I saw the tweet. It's fully funded.
Yeah, but we still got 6 days left, so the game is it's not over yet. So there's still work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And what are some of the stretch goals you're looking to achieve?
well, we're gonna have those up, by the afternoon today. But they're gonna range from a bookmark where you've got Alan on one side and you've got the gray alien on the other side. We'll do a reveal of the cover of the second book, which is really exciting. I really like the uh, the reference that we use for the second book. It's in line with the first one where we took old 1940s movie posters and we used it
Mm-hmm.
to inspire the cover. So the second book is in line with that. And then where the higher one is, we'd like to do a black and white version of the book to kind of really go full noir with everything.
That's exciting. That would be a great addition to, I think, to anybody's library. And you still got these. Uh, what do they call those things there? Um, I'm not going to say prizes. What's the word I'm looking for here? Because I've never done
Rewards.
a Kickstarter. Yeah,
Rewards.
rewards. Yes, thank you so much.
Rewards.
They're still available if people get in before
Yes,
the
they're still
yeah.
available. The 11 by 17 poster, that is my absolute favorite. My the colorist, he had this idea to kind of make the edges and add this kind of crease design that makes everything look really weathered and vintage.
Mhm.
Like when you get the poster, it's very pristine. It's not actually folded. It just looks very weathered. And I thought it was super cool when he first sent it to me. That I thought it was like, oh, that's the top tier. That goes right at the top. And then of course the baseball cards are still great. We we created they have character stats on there and even which sidearm they actually use. Each detective in this story has a very specific sidearm that they use, that you see it in the book. And then Ellis, he's a very benevolent and he doesn't like to use a gun, so his baseball card does not actually have a gun on there.
Mhm. Well, that's kind of cool. That's the kind of details people like to get into when they talk about the characters and go into the chat rooms and everything. It's like, well, this is the way he is. This is the way he's not, and he wouldn't be doing something if somebody draws like fan art of the character.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Having yeah. And these are the two postcards.
Yeah, these are the two postcards at the 45 reward tier level. Yeah, these are just some of the most like striking panels that we have so far. I really love both of them. It was hard to choose between both of them, so I wanted people to have both because I love the alien encounter. I love the vibe of it and how creepy it is, and I just think Alan like leaning against his car at the construction site is probably one of the coolest images in this book so far.
Just so people know, Tony James has written dozens of stories over the last decade, and his previous comic, Reloader, a cyberpunk comic, was successfully kickstarted. And you currently have a web comic about a talking pistachio with a mustache called Mustachio, which I found hilarious when I was looking at that.
Yeah.
And when you're not writing, you're playing Metroidvanias, I guess.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. When I'm not writing, I'm playing video games. That's my thing. That's the way I kind of blow off steam. Yeah.
Are you going to be taking this to any of the conventions?
Well, I'll be running around the convention of New York Comic Con tomorrow and Saturday. So I've got these. Let me show you here. Yeah, here we go.
I'm going to make you big there so you can show these things off. Hang on.
Yeah, I've got these cards here that I'm going to be presenting to people, and on the back it's got a QR code, and it'll take you right to the Kickstarter, so you can jump in and get a book while the campaign is still live. So yeah, so I'll be going around talking to people, telling them about the book, and sharing those cards with them. Yeah. So.
And so you're not. Do you have a table out there, or?
Not this year. No. Hopefully next year, when I have this book and along with the cyberpunk book that you mentioned, I'll have a table to sell both of those books.
So let's say I jump in real quick and I nab myself a print version of the comic book. How soon will somebody be able to receive their first copy?
Well, we have a backstop date of April of next year. It's 42-page book. We are already a third of the way through that book, so we are hoping to have that earlier than April. But April is our if things get crazy, it'll definitely be in your hands by April.
And this is the first of 6, so you're going to have 5 more campaigns afterwards.
Yes, and each book will be about 40 pages long. And this is also a series that is already fully written. It isn't like we made one book and we have an outline. It's a 300-page story that I worked on for several months and then broke down into these 6 different books. And now we are doing the Kickstarter for the first book.
Yeah, and it's the artwork that takes, I would assume, the longest to get done.
For sure, yeah, for sure. The coloring also takes a little bit because coloring is sort of a 2-step process where you have to flat it, where you just kind of put general colors in the area where you want to actually color, and then you have to then go in to render it to make it look as nice as the finished pages look. So that's like the colorist has a separate person who does the flatting portion of the coloring. So that takes a little bit, but and lettering is very quick. That's like the lettering and printing the books are probably the fastest things that happen.
Yeah, I was including the in my mind. I was including the coloring as well because that's definitely an art unto itself. Yeah. I was back in the 80s. I'm dating myself here, but back in the 80s, I was trying to look into maybe becoming an artist of some kind, and I thought I was doing good just putting the flats in and showing off my work. And I saw some of these coloring artists that were using at the time markers, and some of them were using watercolors, and it was just it blew me away at the amount of detail and structure that they use, and the consideration of light sources and lights bouncing from one side to the other. It was just it's phenomenally hard work and labor intensive to get done. So yeah, definitely that's a step that's going to take a while to do. Are you going to keep the same artists for the same book, or are you going to switch it up and find different artists?
No, this is a singular vision with this art team. We're going to make all of these books together, and other books that I make, I'll work with a different team. But for Sar Noir, this is the team. Mm-hmm. This is the way the book looks. This is the story we're going to tell.
Fantastic. Opportunity and the time to come over here and talk with us, and I'm glad we had a chance to share this for you, and I'm really excited that it's fully funded
Me
at
too.
kickstarter.com/project/Star Noir/star dash noir book
I mean,
one.
it's easier to go to Kickstarter and search Star Noir. It's a very unique name. There are multiple Star Noirs.
No, it's definitely something you're going to want to look into. You're going to get hooked. You're going to be excited about it. You're going to want to follow this all the way through all 6 books, and see where it leads, because it's already planned out. 300 pages in, he knows where it's going, and I think we'll be excited to follow you along the ride.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show.
No problem. And everybody else out there, you have yourselves a great day.